Hello, welcome. It is I, Kendra. I am on my. I've read some good books this year. I have a goal of reading 40 books a year, and it breaks down to about 4 books a month. I probably started 40 to 45 books this year after the fucking disaster of Crescent City 3. Been in a book slump, and I've probably finished 12 books. One of those books I am going to review for you today. That is a 5 out of 5. I'm so excited for the second one, and it sucks it comes out next year, but I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So if you want to see what book broke me out of my book slump, stick around. One of the books that got me on my book slump and that I fell in love with, I devoured this book. It is the Crimson Moth series. This is The Heartless Hunter. I know it says Crimson Moth, but it is the Crimson Moth series. This one is just called The Heartless Hunter. I love this book. I got this fairy loot. Obviously, spray it when you get fairy loot. It's sprayed edges. I love this book. I devoured this book. When you're in this world being a witch, you get killed. You get hung immediately because they think that witches are the root of all evil, even though they used to rule. And my girl Rune right here, not Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of Albar and Bay, not him. Rune, Rune. She is a witch, and she helps enslaved or captured witches, and she saves them from Gideon. And it's such a good cat and mouse book. I loved it. It's so good. I devoured this up quickly. This is a great read. I got this on my fairy loot, and it just looked beautiful. For some reason, I had some type of calling to it, and I read it so quickly. I loved it. The only thing about the fairy loot thing that I will kind of give complaint is she's not this cute pink bubblegum princess. She has strawberry blonde hair and not, again, K-pop hair. So this is about my girl Ren. Sorry, not Ren. Rune. The last girl was Ren. This is about my girl Rune. She is a witch, and being a witch is outlawed because the witches used to take over. The witches were taking over this world. They were the queens. They were the witch queen sisters. There was 3 of them, and they ran things. And there's tiers to your spells. There's simple ones where you can do mirages, where it's just simple things where you can make illusions. And then the more you move up, and then there's 4 tiers. There's 4 tiers. The top tier one, I can't remember what it's called, but it is what you take. In this world, you need blood to make your spells. And you have to, wherever you get your blood source, it depends on what type of magic you can perform. If you get your blood source from someone after they gave their permission, you can do really good, strong, powerful ones, and it won't corrupt the witch. But if you kill someone and take their blood, or take blood from someone and not ask for the permission, they don't give you permission, it can corrupt the witch, and you can do dangerous magic with that. And that's what happened with these sisters, the witch sisters, is they started taking blood from people and didn't ask for permission and corrupt them. And that was the downfall of the sister witches, queens, and they were killed. And then anytime they saw it, the whole witch hunt, literally a witch hunt, would go to find witches. And if you knew a witch, you're supposed to report them. If you didn't report them, you're sympathizing, you're dying with the witches. So this story starts with Rune. Her parents died. You don't know much about her parents besides they died, and she gets adopted by an old woman that she considers her grandmother. And her grandmother owns a shipping business. And this world, there's guns in it, but it doesn't really explain to me if they're like modern pistols or they're like revolvers, like the old style. But there's guns, but horses, and there's electricity in this world too. She owns it, but her grandmother owns a shipping business, and her grandmother's a witch. And you don't know Rune. She didn't know Rune was a witch, but there was a witch hunt going on. They found out that grandma was a witch. Her grandmother begged her, like, you have to report me. You have to report me that I'm a witch. Otherwise, they're going to think you're a witch sympathizer at 13, and they're going to kill you with me, and I want you to be safe. Please report me. They already know I'm a witch. They don't need to know that you knew about this. Act shocked and brand new and you didn't know this. Report me, and that way you can live. And Rune didn't want to do it, but she realizes she can't, like, that's her only option. So she does. She plays like she just found out. She just stumbled across, like, her witch books or spell books, and she reports her grandmother, and her grandmother gets hung. But before she dies, she leaves everything to Rune, and she gives her, like, her final farewell. Before Rune goes to the cops, they call them the Blood Guard. She says, you need to go find this witch. I can't remember what the witch's name is. Doesn't matter. You need to go find this witch, and she's going to tell everything you need to know. That's all she says. So Rune's entire mission now ever since Grandma died, which has been a handful of years, is to go find this witch. And since trying to find this witch to find answers, she has also been saving witches that get captured by the Blood Guard before they get hung. And in this world, when you perform magic, it doesn't matter how you perform magic. You have a signature, and that is some type of signa. Hers is a crimson moth. So she can, like, do a little magic spell in this room, and then when she's done, where she did that magic will pop up a crimson moth, and it'll float there for a couple hours, and then will finally disappear, and that's why it's called the crimson moth. So she is called the crimson moth because when she breaks out prisoners, she has to do magic, and so usually when the Blood Guard finally shows up, all they see is their missing prisoner, broken chains, an open window, and like a floating little crimson moth. So they call her the crimson moth. Rune has 2 lives, the crimson moth, and then she also has this dumb socialite. Because Grandma had a shipping business, Grandma left everything to her, including a mansion, an estate, a shipping business, tons of jewels, tons of money. And so she plays the dumb role of a socialite. Like, she can't be bothered with dirt. Why would I do that? I have maids. Everyone thinks she's a dumb socialite. She only cares about her appearance, but she has 2 real friends that know her true identity and who she really is, and that's Verity, and that's a girl, Vertity, and Alex, who is a guy. And they've been lifelong friends. And in this world, in this world, females are witches. And it's not something you can just, like, pick up one day. It's passed down. And the way you know that you are a witch is if when you have your first period, your blood is black and you know you're a witch. And she makes friends with Alex because she was friends with Alex for a while. And before she was, like, I think they met at like 11 at a party. And then when she turned 13, she started her first period and it was black blood. And he found her in the bathroom crying, and he totally accepted her, even though being a witch was illegal. And he accepted her, and ever since then, he's been helping her find witches and saving witches, because just because you're a witch doesn't mean you're evil. It just takes one to fuck everything up. And then Verity is the same way. Verity found out that she was a witch. She saw the blood. I can't remember how, but I feel like they saw the blood, or she saw her do magic, and they've become friends. They're all in the same age group. Verity is a student at whatever university, and her sisters were witches, but she's not a witch. And so she knows some spells because her sisters she sat in our sister's spell sessions. And her sisters were reported by her family and were killed. And then Alex, his older brother, is Gideon. Gideon is a part of the Blood Guard, and he is the head witch hunter. And he is ruthless, and he'll go after everything and anyone, because his whole goal is to kill witches, because he was in love with one of the witch sisters, and she was evil and tortured him and abused him and beat him and, like, did punishments, and he couldn't kill her himself, so he had Alex he didn't have Alex. Alex did it on his own behalf to kill the witches, and ever since then he thinks all witches are evil. My girl Rune goes to the opera, and she's playing the dumb role socialite, like, everything's great, I love the gossip, that's the only reason why I come to the opera, for the gossip. But really, she's trying to find out where Seraphine, she's the witch that her grandma's like, you need to go find her. She knows all the answers. In the beginning of the books, she years go by, and she finds out where this girl's cabin is. She goes to the cabin, finds that the Blood Guard's already been there and took her. And she's like, I gotta find something about where she's being held so I can find her, because she's a high-profile witch. She has very strong abilities. So she goes to the opera, and she plays the dumb role of just like, I am only here for gossip. Anyway, speaking of gossip, anyone have brought in some good characters to be hung this weekend? So she goes and she runs into Gideon, and she's trying to butter him up and like, hey, Did you capture someone this weekend? Anyway, I'm having a party later tonight and you should come so I can butter you up. And he literally goes like, you're a fucking airhead. I do not have time for people like you. I have real things to do. Just like that. He's a dick. He's such a dick to her. He's just like, I don't have time for this. Obviously, I don't even have the patience for you or your breath. And she's trying hard to be a dumb socialite, but like the real her is like, motherfucker. You think you got something to say? Me too. I got plenty to say. Your kind's killing my kind for fun. But Gideon is also at the opera to meet one of his informants, one of his spies, and the spy comes, pulls Gideon aside and goes, hey, the Crimson Moth was just by, we just got information that one of the Crimson Moths, people that she took away from us, was on Rune's now owned business and on the ships. There was a Crimson Moth floating on one of her ships. So either she is the Crimson Moth, she knows the Crimson Moth and is letting them use their ships, or someone in her circle is sneaking things on her ship, but you need to follow her and figure out if she's involved. Again, I talked earlier about how to be a witch, you need blood. What these girls would do, what these witches will do, is they would cut themselves, and they're called casting marks. But when they want just like, here's some blood. When they cut themselves, they would make these beautiful designs. And when a witch makes a cut, it's silver on their skin. So it's clearly different from any other normal mark you would have. When you have a witch cut, it's silver. And so what these witches would do, because clearly they're witches and they need blood, they would make these intricate designs. Some people would have like a fleet of ships on their chest. One witch had this flower meadow that would go up her arm, and there's flowers all over her. I'm pretty sure her grandma had a ship scene all over her body. The informant tells Gideon, you need to try and date her and corner her somewhere and try and see if you can find any casting scars on her, and that way you would know she's a witch. Here's the thing. My girl Rune don't play no games. She knows about casting marks, and she gets her blood from her lady business. I don't agree with it. I don't know how she's doing it. It's not like it's a spigot and I can just control. Tamlin ain't got time for my shit. It's not like it's a spigot and she can just control on and off how much blood she gets. But she gets blood from her lady business and she keeps them in vials. The problem with when you use lady business blood, it's not fresh blood, and she keeps it for, until she gets her next lady business. So when you use her blood's not strong enough to pull off magic. She needs a fresh source, and she had a fresh source. She can do crazy things, and she can do world-ending damaging things if she had fresh blood. And he tells his informant, I just called her an airhead, and I don't got time for people like her, and I have real things to do. And she's like, you better go fucking make shit up. You better go kiss her little ass. He's like, well, she did invite me to a party. So he goes home, changes his clothes, and you find out that his parents are actually these world famous seamstress couple. They were called the something duet. I can't remember what the fuck they were called, but they used to make clothes, and they were highly sought after, and they made clothes for the witch queens. And that's how he got in communication and to relationship with one of the witch queens, is because his parents made clothes and he was their apprentice. So he goes back to his house and he sews her up a rose from felt. And he's like, it took him a couple hours. He made a felt rose and gave it to her, goes to the party and goes, I'm so sorry how I acted. I just have a lot of shit going on and I'm not used to, beautiful women and coming to talk to me. So here's this rose. Please apologize. I'm so sorry. Here you go. And she's like, oh, this motherfucker knows something. And now, because he's this grouchy old guy, he's this grouchy guy. Every time I've met him, he's been rude and callous to me. And all of a sudden he wants to get to know me. We're not doing this. Not on here, not on this day. So she plays along with it too. Oh, of course. You are forgiven. Come dance with me. And he looks at her and it's like, he realizes he doesn't know how to dance because he doesn't go to parties. He doesn't socialize. He's very much a working class man. He doesn't know dancing. And so that clicks to her oh, you don't know. Oh, it's okay. Let me give you a tour of my estate. And she tries to lure him into her bedroom, and in her bedroom there's a cup and there's a little spell, and it's like the truth serum spell, and if you drink from it, you have to tell the truth. And she lures him in there, and they're all acting all cute and like flirtsy, but they each have these ulterior motives because she knows he suspects her of being the Crimson Moth or knowing the Crimson Moth, so she's trying to get him to drink from this cup, this wine in this enchanted cup, and he's like, I don't drink wine. She goes, oh, that's okay, puts that cup down, grabs another cup and drinks from the cup. He goes, why did you put down the first cup? Just drink from the first cup, or unless it's drugged. She goes, no, oh my gosh, no, of course not. Grabs the cup, drinks from it, and now she's under the truth serum. And during this time, her maid comes and goes, madam, there's a letter for you. And she opens it up, and it's the blood guard, inviting her to be the citizen of the month because she reported her grandmother years ago, and she needs to come give this big speech. And she reads it in front of him, and he's like, oh, that's really exciting, congratulations. And because she's under the truth serum, she wants to be like, this is fucking bullshit. You want me to be congratulated and celebrated by the people that hung my grandma, but she turns it into this is a nightmare. And he's like, why is that? And then she's like, because I have nothing to wear. I have no beautiful dress. There's not enough time. They want me there next week. There's not enough time to order a brand new dress. I'm a dumb socialite. I only care about dresses. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're just full of hot takes and real political opinions, aren't you? You only care about dresses and bows. So he decides, because his parents were seamstress, that he will make her a dress, and that's another way he can have her come over. So he emails. He invites her over and says, I want to make you a dress. And this way, he's like, I have to take your measurements. Take off all your clothes. And she's like, this motherfucker wants to see if I have casting scars. Fine. Takes off her clothes, just wearing her bra and underwear, and he's taking the measurements, and guess what? He doesn't see any casting scars. And he makes her this beautiful dress, and he goes to his informant and goes, it's not her. She doesn't have any casting scars. She goes, oh, did you look everywhere? He's like, yeah, I had her naked in my shop. He's like, was she really naked? Oh, well, she was wearing like underwear and a bra. And the fucking informant's like, well, if I was a witch, I would make sure to cut my inner thighs or under my boobs, because that would be the perfect place to hide casting scars. And he's like, motherfucker. And she's like, you have to sleep with her or get her really naked to truly see these casting scars. And he's like, fine. Then he sends her the gown, and she's like, will you please be my date to this dinner I have to go to? And he accepts. And before the dinner, he gets a notification, a telegram, that he's needed at once because one of his informants has gone missing. And so he goes and he finds the informant. He goes and tries and finds them, but she finds out that they're dead. And he's late to the dinner. So she's off at the dinner. She does her speech. He's still not there. She took her friend Verdi. They're having a great time. And they're like, dear Citizen Rune, you did such a good job reporting your aunt. Here is the witch you have been looking for. We need you to purge her. Here's a ceremonial knife. Please kill this witch in front of all these people to prove that you're a good citizen. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? What is that? You want me to go kill another person? You want me to kill the people you want me to kill? And that was like a test to see if she would actually do it. She takes the knife. She goes on the ceremony board, and she's like, I don't want to do this. And the witch that's tied up looking at her goes, you're a fucking disgrace to your grandmother. She would roll over in her grave. She knew that you would rat her out. Now you're gonna kill me. And all of a sudden, boof! A big fire happens, and everyone's looking at the fire now, while this bitch, she's tied up and chained, dips, gone. And now my girl Rune is encased in fire, and a special witch fire. But who shows up last second? My motherfucking Gideon. Shows up, jumps over fire, grabs her, takes the coat. Oh, P.S. She gifted him a coat with the enchantment charm spell on it again, because she wants him to tell the truth. She's trying to find out where this witch was. She was right there. And anyway, it doesn't matter. He takes off the jacket she enchanted, wraps her up. It catches fire. He saves her. It's all cute. They head back, and they have a cute little moment together. And then Verdi shows up and goes, what the hell's going on? I've been looking for you everywhere. You're making out back here. what is going on? Verdi does not like Gideon because Gideon found her sisters and hung her sisters. Obviously, I wouldn't be a fan of him either. So there's that animosity. And Verdi pulls Rune aside and goes, you know you're supposed to act like you like him. Like, this is so we can get information. You're not supposed to actually get a feelings or attachments to him. She goes, oh, I know. It's all for the mission. It's all for the cause. So, Gideon shows up one day Gideon shows up at Rune's house and he's like, let's go for a walk. You were talking about a beach earlier, so let's go for this walk. And they go for a walk and Rune is literally walking the beach, but she's also walking this fine line of telling him like how she sympathizes for the witches because it's not their fault they're witches and the children of witches get banished or any type. It's weird. They get banished or hung, and she was talking about like, she was like, doesn't matter if they're a witch or not, children shouldn't starve. There's children in the street starving because there's all this change. But the new commander after the witch sisters got killed isn't living up to his name. He was talking about how he was going to change things to make things stronger and better for the world. And surprise, surprise, the politicians don't live up to their word. Everyone acts surprised. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised. They go to the beach and Gideon in his mind goes, we're at a beach. This be the perfect time to take off our clothes and go swimming so I can see those casting scars. And he gets naked and hops into the ocean. She gets naked, hops into the ocean, and it's bright and he can see there's no casting scars on her. And they kiss and they're being all cute on the ocean, and then you find out that he's having second thoughts. Like, I can't have feelings for her because she could be truly a witch, and my younger brother Alex is in love with her. And I forgot to mention that Alex is in love with her, and it's very obvious, and I don't know how she did not see it. It's so fucking obvious this boy's in love with her, and I feel so bad for Alex. I liked Alex. But she's distracted and she's kissing this guy and she's talking about this roaring fire she has for him, and all she wants to do is just devour him. I don't blame her. And he realizes, like, either I'm kissing the Crimson Moth or she's truly innocent and I'm kissing this girl my brother likes and it's wrong. So he pulls off, but they're in the ocean. So she's leaning forward, kissing him, and he moves and then she right into water. She's mortified, naked, and she hauls ass back to the beach, grabs her clothes, starts running to her house. He's like, oh, I fucked this up. So he chases her, follows her with her clothes, and they meet up at the house, and he's like, I'm so sorry. I really have feelings for you. I just have mixed emotions about having feelings with you. This happened all of a sudden, and you're not the type of girl I normally go for. And she's kind of understanding, and they have another cute moment together, and she's like, you should come inside. He's like, I don't want to. I'm so sorry. I have other obligations besides your pissoir. And he dips. And she doesn't hear from him because he's never dated anyone besides the Witch Queen. And so he doesn't understand you're supposed to send flowers. You're supposed to, like, I've been thinking of you, poetry and telegrams. And he doesn't do that. So you find out as the time goes on that he is going to a sting. He got an inside scoop. He got a tip that the Crimson Moth is about to strike, and they're having a witch society meeting at some, like, abandoned bar. And so he goes there, and it was a trap, and there's a bunch of explosions and blah, blah, blah. And one of the witnesses came forward and said, I saw a girl that looks just like your girl, her friend, Verdi. She was there. She was leading this leading this witch hunt. She was there, kumbaya, and doing whatever witchy symbols you got to do. She was there. But the newspaper reports that Gideon got hurt and there was explosions, and my girl Rune's freaking out. Goes to his apartment, sits there for like hours until he pops up, and he's like, yeah, I'm fine, but a lot of my friends got hurt, a lot of my guys got hurt. I had to stay behind at the hospital and check on them. And she's like, I thought you were dead. You never write me, and I was really sad. He's like, you have feelings for me? She goes, obviously I have feelings for you. And they have this moment where they declared, like, this is, like, they have this cute moment together. He takes her upstairs into her apartment. They do it's like fade to black smut. Like, obviously they have sex, but it's like fade to black. And then afterwards they're laying in bed together and she's gathering up her clothes, and he's like, where are you going? Don't you want to stay? And she goes, well, this feels real to me, and if this isn't real, I don't want to stay and get my hopes up. And he declares his love for her. Like, this is it. You're the only person I want to be with. I think about you constantly. I make dresses for you. I want to be with you. And because they had sex and he looked real good, he has declared she is not the Crimson Moth and that he does have feelings for her and he's going to pursue this. And she's like, I have feelings for him too. This is no longer a cat and mouse game. I have strong feelings for him too. I'm staying with him. And they go for round 2. He wakes up because there's a knock on the door. He goes down and it's a couple of his blood guard people. And they said, hey, did you finally fuck her? Did you see if there was any casings or casting marks? And he doesn't want his people, the blood guard, to know he has feelings for her and they're in love. So he goes, oh, I've had way better sex than her. She was just okay. I was just doing this for the force. I wasn't doing this for feelings. I have no feelings attachments to her. And guess what? My bitch room heard all of it. Mortified, grabs her stuff, dips, and goes, I don't want to fucking talk to you. You're a fucking asshole. You only use me for one fucking thing. Fuck you. I ain't got time for your bullshit. Runs off. You know who she runs off to? The brother Alex. And like, she's all heartbroken and sad. And he comes to her and goes, I am leaving. I'm going to another place. I can't stay here anymore. I'm going to go off to university. I want you to come with me. I love you. Here's this ring. Let's be engaged and let's be in love. Let's go save this last witch, and then let's dip and go be in love. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm fucking tired of your brother and I'm done. She was, P.S. by the way, Alex doesn't know that she was getting dicked down by Gideon. And so she accepts the proposal by Alex, and poor sweet Alex. And she says she kisses him and she feels like a small spark of a flame when she kisses him, and that maybe over time it can grow into a passion that she had for Gideon. But I'm going to let you know it doesn't. Just saying. Based off personal experience, it doesn't. So the next day, they make a plan. They know where the witch is at. They have stolen certain things to help break her out. But they're explaining things. They're in her bedroom and they're like, we're going to do this. We're going to meet up at this time, talk to these people, go here, grab this. We're going to grab the witch, put her on the ship and dip. And like, go team. And the day comes where they're supposed to break out this witch, and things are part of the plan. Physical items like keys and a couple other little mementos are missing. And she's like, that's so weird. I'm going to go visit my friend Verdi, and because I'm supposed to meet up at her place, and then we're going to go break out this witch. And when she goes to Verdi's apartment or dorm, it's a fucking broom closet. And she's like, I've been going to this bitch's dorm for like years now, and now it's a broom closet. She goes downstairs. She goes, hi, I'm so sorry. This is going to be so silly. I'm trying to find my friend, and her name is this. And they're like, oh, we don't have no bitch here under that name. And she goes, what do you mean you have no one under this name? And she's like, oh, and she's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I have to go tell the guy I just slept with. I have to go tell him I'm engaged to his brother. So she hops off to go to Gideon's house to tell her she's engaged now to Alex. She's leaving. I want nothing to do with you, but I want you to hear it from me before you hear it from someone else. And Gideon, when she sees him, looks like shit. So she goes to Gideon's place to tell him, hey, I'm engaged to your brother. But when he gets there, he looks haggard. And he looks her dead in the eye and goes, I just want to know what we had was real. Was anything you told me real? And she goes, what the fuck are you talking about? And then busts in the blood guard. They come and arresting her. They're shackling her up. He's like, I know you're the Crimson Moth. She's like, bitch, how the fuck did you know any of this? And he goes, oh, I went by your place last night because I made you fucking a dozen buttercup flowers because you said they're your favorite from fucking fabric. I was going to go deliver them. I knocked on your door. Your ass didn't answer. And I thought, shit's going crazy lately with explosions, and your friend Birdie was seen at a fucking crime scene. I decided to go upstairs and do some investigation. And I heard you and my brother and that bitch talk about how you're going to break out this girl, how you stole my stuff, my key set, and you're on your way. You're going to break out this girl. I know you were going to be a fuck. You're the Crimson Moth because I overheard things. And when he's like, oh, I broke into your house and overheard things, I'm like, who the fuck are you? What? Excuse me? You're gonna break anything? She gets pissed too. She goes, yeah, okay, fine. I'm the Crimson Moth. You're a fucking murderer. It's what you are. You think you're doing justice. You're a fucking murderer. She doesn't say fuck you because I think she's too good for that. You're a murderer. And they're patting her down. They're looking for weapons. And then they find the engagement ring. In this world, before you're engaged, they wear your engagement ring on a necklace because it's bad luck. And they pull out this necklace and he recognizes the engagement ring because it was his dead mother's, because they're brothers. And he goes, where'd you get this ring? She goes, I'm engaged to your brother. He goes, you're engaged? He goes, that's right. I'm engaged to him because he's a better man than you will ever fucking be. He accepts me for who I am. He loves me for who I am. He ain't trying to find ulterior motives. He's been there through thick and thin. He's my ride or die. You are some bullshit's what you are. You thought you could get this and you're just a monster. Fuck you. And then he's like, okay, well, I guess that's enough evidence. I'm going to take you to trial now, and you're going to hang in the matter of seconds. How did he let this do that to his girl? Only God knows. They get on a horse. They're riding to town square. She's shackled up in iron things, so she can't do any magic, and because she's thinking like, oh, I can cut my wrist and do some stuff, but she's in iron shackles. So she can't. Her fiance, Alex, Gideon's brother, comes. He goes, why are you have my girl locked up? And he's like, because she's a fucking witch. He goes, she's just an innocent girl. He goes, innocent? Innocent? She ain't innocent. She's the Crimson Moth. And he goes, guess what? I've been helping her. And he goes, brother, you shouldn't be telling people like this because I would have to arrest you. And so what does Alex do? Shouts loud, I've been helping her kidnap your fucking prisoners. I've been putting them on a ship to escape away from you and your blood god. I have been helping her. I have known she's a witch. I love her. She is a witch. She's my witch. Fuck you. And he goes, and then Gideon's like, I have to arrest you. And he doesn't want to. And then one blood guard steps up and goes, if you can't do it, Captain, I can do it. And so he arrests his fucking brother. Arrests his brother. And they get put up onto, it's not a guillotine, but they're going to be hanged. And they're up on sorry, I gotta back this up. Rune was like, why did you do that? He goes, I love you. You're my heart. If you die today, I'm going to die regardless. So I may as well die with the girl I love, which is, it's super sweet. And I'm really, like, I loved Alex, and it sucks that he died. But he had to die. Anyway, they're on the guillotine with the girl that she's been looking for this entire book, Seraphine, and she was like, they're tied up and they're like about to be hung, and she's like, she starts asking her questions like, why did you do these things? And she's like, my grandmother asked me to report her because she was going to be taken away and she wanted me to live, and I betrayed her. I've been trying to save witches this whole time. I've been trying to find you. She told me to come find you, and I know I look like just a dumb socialite, but I've been saving witches left and right. And then what happens? Boom! More fucking fire. And you find out that the evil witch that Gideon was fucking and abused her and he thought was dead. Surprise, surprise. She wasn't dead. She changed her appearance and looked like her friend Verti. I know. What the fuck? And she now, with all the witches that Rune has saved, is now back in a witch army. And they're zapping motherfuckers left and right. Here, cutting, slicing, and dicing. And Rune's putting this all together going, this girl who I thought was a college student helping me because she learned things through her sisters is kind of true. She did learn things from her sisters, but she's the long-lost witch queen. She's the sole witch queen. And she's here to take shit back. And she goes... And she realizes, she goes, oh, my queen, who's now was Verti, but now her name is Cressida. And she's like, oh, my queen, please help me unlock these locks. We're still chained up on this podium. Come save us. And she smiles. This is how the scene is. She's smiling at Rune, and a human comes by. And now she's still smiling. She grabs the human, slices their throat, takes their blood, and does a little picklock symbol on the locks to unchain Rune and Seraphine. And it's like, come, be a part of my group. Alex pops up out of nowhere. It's like, we gotta go. We gotta dip. Shit's getting real. And Gideon's like, you can't go anywhere without me. Blah, blah, blah. You're my brother. Verti, now her name is Chris. They call her Cress or Cressida. Whatever. I'm going to call her Cress going forward. She goes, oh, Gideon, I've been looking for you a long time. I want you and your guards to drop your guns and put your hands up, and we won't hurt you. But I need your guns, and I need Rune and Seraphine. And he's like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. But his guards are like, what the fuck? Our whole purpose is take down witches, and you're going to just like hand over your guns. And he hands over the guns. And Chris has a gun pointed right at him. She goes, I fucking knew this about you. You're a fucking traitor. I can't stand you. Been waiting for the day to come back and kill you. She fires the gun. My boy Alex, boom, steps in front of the gun, takes the bullet. And now he's dying in Rune's arms because she's freaking out. He's like, I loved you since the moment I saw you. I've loved you for years. I'm so sorry I never stepped up and told you about it. I didn't know how to tell you. And she's like, you're not going to die. Everything's fine. Even though you took one to the fucking heart and you're bleeding out fast and you're no longer the same skin color you were 10 minutes ago. It's going fast. And his last words were like, I need you to live. I need my death not to be in vain. I give you permission to use my blood. And she's like, what does I, again, give you permission to do my blood? And since she has a fresh source of blood and gave permission, she can't get corrupt. So he dies in her arms, thinking they're in love, hugs and kisses. I'm glad he got that send off. Gideon's fucked up. Just lost his only surviving family member gets shot and now is being held in the arms of the girl he loves / hates. And she takes Alex's blood and does what's called the Earth Shatter or the Earth Shudder, which splits. It's literally going to create this big divide where the witches are on this side and the Bloodguard and Gideon are on this side. And they're standing now in their pieces of the earth. And Gideon goes, I don't give a fuck where you go, how you go. I'm hunting you down. I am finding you and I'm fucking ending this. And after the smoke clears, all you see is a floating crimson moth because she did magic right there. And that was her little sign, was a floating crimson moth. She's already fucking gone. I loved that. Beautiful send off. Beautiful writing. This book is so well written. I gobbled this up. It was so well written. I loved it. Cut to the epilogue now where Rune is now on the boat with Cress and the witches that she has saved. She's being hailed a hero. But the thing is, though, is she just pulled off a top tier spell, which means she has some stronger abilities than other witches. And Cress is going to want her in the forefront in the army. She hasn't came out and said it, but Seraphina pops up and goes, you just pulled off a really powerful spell that not a lot of witches can do. So you're going to be huge in this upcoming war. And she's like, I don't want to do anything about this upcoming war. I just left my home. I just left my money, my friends, both of the guys I loved. They're still back there and I don't want to do anything. I just want to live a peaceful life. And she turns to her and she goes, my grandmother wanted me to find you. And I think she wanted you to train me. And she goes, did she? Did she want me to train you? Well, since you have been untrained now for many years, it's going to take a long time to train you. We've got a lot of catching up to do. And she said, that's fine because Gideon's going to hunt me down. And so I need to be prepared. And that's where the book ends. This is a duology. I loved this book. I gobbled it up. It is so well written and beautiful. I loved it. It was really, really good. I don't have any complaints really about this book. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. 5 out of 5. This helped me get out of my slump. I loved this book. It sucks. I have to wait till February now for the second book, which is fine because the author, Kristen Cirelli. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names if you haven't noticed. She keeps posting snippets of little scenes and she's editing and it's going to be beautiful. The next one's called The Rebel Witch. I'm so excited for it. I am going to devour that. I have so many good books that are coming out and I'm really excited for it. I've been reading. I've been hard finding books that I truly enjoy from the beginning and throughout because after a while I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Not this book. I loved this book. So many good twists. It was great. I guess the only complaint I had is when she found out that Bertie, whatever the fuck her name is, found out that her dorm was actually a broom closet. She didn't do any investigation. She went downstairs and like, I'm sorry, we don't have anyone in that name. What? That's so strange. I'll investigate it later. I'm late to go break up with my fiance's brother, and just takes off. And it's like, I would do a lot more digging if I just found out this girl who I've been friends with for many years never existed, and now her room that I've been going into and doing magic in no longer exists. She was like, okay, that checks out. I gotta go now. Bye. So I loved it. It was a good book. It was such a good book. It read out beautifully. Again, I loved it. I'm so excited for the second. So let me know if you guys read Crimson Moth. I loved it. Please, are you guys excited for the second one? I hope you guys read it. It's such a good, beautiful read. And let me know in the comments what other type of books I should read. Again, I am very open to any type of genre. I'm very open to types of books. I'm trying to branch out and read different types of books, not just say romantasy, because they all start to kind of blend together and have the same trope. So let me know if there's any good book recs you guys got, and I'll see you in the next one.